I don't think this gets said enough. You are allowed to live deeply, even while you're learning how to carry your pain, your trauma, everything you've been through, your trust issues, your daddy issues, everything. Because you're allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress at the exact same time. So, I guess the moral of the story is you have to live, not even when you become perfect, not even when the fear disappears, not when you reach a particular time in life, even now, because that's what's worth it in the end. Nobody would get this, but some people don't want to die. They just want the pain to stop. And if you get that, then you get that. If you don't, then you just don't. Because there's a difference. When pain lasts long enough, it can convince a person that escape is the only answer left. And that might be the frightening part because these thoughts rarely arrive like a storm. They arrive quietly, in isolation, in exhaustion, in the feeling that nobody would understand even if you tried to explain it. You begin disappearing before anyone else notices you're gone. You smile in conversations, you answer, I'm fine, even though you know and everyone else knows that you're not. And inside your mind, a dangerous question repeats itself again and again, which is, what's the point of staying? The weight becomes unbearable. Every mistake feels permanent. Every memory feels sharp. Every tomorrow feels impossible to even imagine. So the mind searches for silence, not because life is meaningless, but because suffering has become too loud to even handle.
Have you gotten this before?
Yeah, I have. It tastes better today.
Are you sure you don't want?
No, I don't.
Oh my god, I've gotten to the part where what's his name? Zach says, I like you, but I need to sort it out with Tulane because you know he's slow.
But thoughts are not prophecies. Pain is not a permanent truth. The mind can lie even when it's hurting, scientifically speaking, that is. It can tell you that nothing changes when healing often begins.
Oh my god, how much have you eaten today?
It's the half amount, the normal amount.
Oh wow, sushi.
Yeah, I got tuna nigiri and a chicken crunchy roll. But it's 3 pieces. This is tuna nigiri. I want to try it. If you are listening to this while fighting your own mind, hold on, not forever, that is, just for today, because feelings change, people change, pain changes, lives change. And the version of you that survives this may one day be grateful you stayed long enough to meet them. Because sometimes the bravest thing a person can do is decide to see another morning. I have big dreams, and I think the only thing that gets me through the day is knowing that the dreams will happen and they're going to be remarkable. That's the only hope that gets me through the day. Because you begin mourning yourself before you are gone. You stop imagining the future, stop answering messages, stop recognizing the person in the mirror. Everything becomes heavy. Getting out of bed, speaking, existing, and the mind that once protected you slowly turns into a battlefield. But this is what nobody tells you about despair. It is convincing. It wears the face of logic. It speaks in your own voice. It rewrites every memory until hope looks childish and suffering looks permanent. So a person stands at the edge of themselves, not always wanting death, but desperately wanting the pain to release its grip. And yet, somewhere beneath the wreckage, beneath the grief, the numbness, the rage, something tiny continues breathing. A fragment, maybe a little spark, a stubborn human heartbeat refusing to disappear. Because even shattered people carry survival inside of them. That's the only reason I can still be here, because of my survival instincts. There are people alive right now, in this world, right at this moment, who once believed they would never make it through another night. People who nearly vanished, people who stood inches from the end, and later watched sunsets they never thought they'd live to see. Pain changes, minds heal, storms pass that once looked endless. Not instantly, not cleanly, but they pass. Stay, even if all you can do is survive the next hour. Stay long enough, life might surprise you again. And that might be a wonderful thing in the end. I'm turning 18 soon, and I got reminded of this quote. Remember, it's still a mystery to be an adult. If you knew it all before 18, you'd have nothing to look forward to. Besides, To be wise in 18 is as possible as catching lightning in a bottle. I don't know if I believe that, but I think it gets me through the day, knowing that 18 might be this great thing, but it might not be also. But I would have experienced it, and I would have made so many mistakes and learned so many things, and I would still be here. And I think there's a great moment of courage in being able to still be here, even though you want to desperately leave. There's this monologue in Barbie, which I think really fits to being a woman. You have to be thin, but not too thin. And you can never say you want to be thin. You have to say you want to be healthy, but also you have to be thin. You have to have money, but you can't ask for money because that's crass. You have to be a boss, but you can't be mean. You have to lead, but you can't squash other people's ideas. You're supposed to love being a mother, but don't talk about your kids all the damn time. You have to be a career woman, but also always be looking out for other people. You have to answer for men's bad behavior, which is insane. But if you point that out, you're accused of complaining. You're supposed to stay pretty for men, but not so pretty that you tempt them too much or that you threaten other women. Because you're supposed to be a part of the sisterhood. But always stand out and always be grateful. But never forget that the system is rigged. So find a way to acknowledge that, but also always be grateful. You have to never get old, never be rude, never show off, never be selfish, never fall down, never fail, never show fear, never get out of line. It's too hard. It's too contradictory. And nobody gives you a medal or says thank you. And it turns out, in fact, that not only are you doing everything wrong, but also everything is your fault. I read this quote from, I want to say it's a movie, I don't really know. On our very first day at Harvard, a very wise professor quoted Aristotle. The law is reason free from passion. Well, no offense to Aristotle, but in my 3 years at Harvard, I have come to find that passion is a key ingredient to the study and practice of law and of life. It is with passion, courage of conviction, and strong sense of self that we take our next steps into the world, remembering that first impressions are not always correct. You must always have faith in people, and most importantly, you must always have faith in yourself. There's a quiet kind of rebellion, choosing to live fully when you were taught to hold back. That's the real club. History wasn't just made in public, it was whispered, debated, and decided in smaller circles. This is one of those circles. The world runs on what's visible, but it's shaped by what isn't. Stay curious, stay inside the conversation. Until next time.